the FBI has now released a person of interest photo showing the person they suspect who murdered Charlie Kirk. Here we go. We are asking the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. And there's all these different reports that this was a trained sniper or not a trained sniper and left different marks on the bullets, and that it somehow was supporting the trans agenda. But if you'll pull up the next close-up of the shirt he was wearing, it's Land of the Free, Home of the Brave. So
I mean, here's the thing. This is whatever he's wearing. It would one logical person could completely assume that he would be trying to fit in. I don't think he's going to wear I'm a fascist. I'm shooting people. He's not going to be wearing a Hillary shirt. So I don't think that this is any corroborating evidence. If somebody is going to try to blend in and get away with murder, I would dress like this as well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
And then we have reports. It was originally reported that the bullets left by the sniper, who is not in custody again, were engraved with anti-fascism, pro-Trump. So that was reported by the Wall Street Journal. Now, the New York Times is going back and saying, according to a preliminary internal report circulated inside the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, federal and local officials recovered ammunition with the rifle that appeared to be engraved with statements expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. But a senior law enforcement official with direct knowledge of the investigation cautioned that report had not been verified by the ATF. Analysts did not match other summaries of the evidence and might turn out to have been misread or misinterpreted. In fast-moving investigations, such status reports are not made public because they often contain a mixture of accurate and inaccurate information. And I did find it interesting, kind of like the trying to blend in. You shoot someone, you leave, you're not captured. Here we are 24 hours later, but you leave bullets.
Here's the thing, Pumps. This is what they would leak because this is the right-wing narrative they need for this shooter to be somehow linked to trans. That was what exactly Charlie Kirk was talking about right before he was executed. This is stuff that goes hard. So this is what MAGA does a lot with their right-wing media echo chambers, is they put something in and then it gets retracted, but it's already out there. It's already circulating everywhere. We have to be fact-based. The person who is the FBI person of interest, I've read since then that they don't even think he's the person of interest because the person running the FBI is a podcaster. And so they have defunded the FBI. They talked about, all of the enemies and the swamp at the FBI. And the FBI does serious work, and MAGA from the jump has started to degrade all of our institutions. This is a very serious crime. And reading the tea leaves of all of this, my problem is it's difficult for me to trust information that is going to be put out by an administration that wants to cook the books on economic numbers as well. It's difficult for me to trust an administration that ran on, we are going to release the files. Kash Patel, I'm going to release the files. Pam Bondi, the files are on my desk. Donald Trump campaigned, we've got to release the files. J.D. Vance, let's release the files. All of a sudden, Kanks is knee deep in the files. They're not going to release the files. This administration doesn't have credibility with the American public. And the American public is all sorted into a bunch of different silos right now. Like you have all of the far right cultists that want a civil war. And I just want to remind everybody who wants a civil war the most in America are adversaries. This benefits Russia. This benefits China. This benefits Modi. They all did a big powwow together and they didn't invite the United States of America. Our European allies don't trust us either. This is an incredibly, incredibly dangerous moment. And the very institutions that we need to have faith in to deliver to us what is going on here, I have a hard time trusting because I don't think this administration operates out of the best interest of the public. I think they operate on how can we cling on to power? How can we feed the information we need to keep our base riled up? That's my personal opinion.
I share your opinion because when I first saw that, I thought, isn't that interesting? And then I thought, would I trust anything coming out of the FBI at this point? First of all, Kash Patel is giving live updates on Twitter. We've arrested someone, we've released someone. That's unusual.
It's rookie. This is not how this goes down. And this is, there's video cameras everywhere. This guy was up in a sniper's nest. He should have already been apprehended. This whole thing is so horrific because the right wing's response is, the far right wing online, is that they want a civil war. And I'm afraid that this is going to start something really, really horrible in our country. Even the president of the United States is saying we're going to find each and every person that contributed to this. What is he talking about? He's the biggest shit talker on the planet. And this administration is, we can say whatever we want. Mm-hmm. We can call people vermin. We can call people radical scum. We can do all of this stuff. We can make fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband. We cannot lower the flags when Jimmy Carter, who is the biggest Christian president, patriot on the planet. Was he the best president? Probably not. But did he earn the flags being half mast? Yes, he did. Trump wouldn't do it. And he does it for Charlie Kirk. And I don't want to, none of that stuff is important to me, but this is the petty politics that they politic in. And the core of this, you guys, is all of us pedestrians out here, we can have these feelings of revenge or God, I hate the right, or God, I hate the left. We need our leaders to be better than us. We need our leaders to have more clarity than us. Donald Trump just today gave disaster relief funding to Wisconsin, and I believe it was maybe North Dakota or South Dakota, I can't remember. And in his tweets, linked that support because the states voted red. And he doesn't give it to states that vote blue. We need our politicians to be better than our worst impulses. All of the right-wing crazy people right now that are saying they want to go to war, the right-wing leaders, the senators, the Congress people, the president need to be better than them and say, no, no, no. We have Democrats in our states. We have Democrats in our district. They didn't vote for me, but I'm here to serve them. We don't have that anymore.
No, we have a president stoking this rhetoric that, the radical left, the scumbag, all of those things. It's very disheartening when you see that the attacks are coming from the top and have been. And this is not a time where we need more people to stoke people, like you said, that are uninformed, that only want to hear what they want to hear. And they're mad and they're angry and they're rage baited all day in their silos. And it's very, very dangerous. And one thing I just want to point out before we leave. So today is 9/11 and we're honoring, the 9/11 actual heroes that died. And so Donald Trump is there notifying the nation that he's going to award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And this is what stuck out to me about Donald Trump. This was a still photo. And then we have a video, like if you're listening only, it's a picture of Trump and the whole side of his face is slack. It's drooping. And then this video shows the exact same thing.
I mean, the American public had a really old president in Joe Biden. And then we have this really old president. And we have all of these horrific things going on. We have Vladimir Putin advancing into Poland and NATO having to respond to that. We usually lead that type of conversation. He was out at Joe's Crab Shack having dinner. And we have, people that I completely disagree with on everything. Like who I am as a person was the polar opposite of who Charlie Kirk is. I stand with Black and brown people. I stand with immigrants who just want to come over here and find a better life. I do not believe homosexuals should be stoned. I have no issue flying on a plane that a Black woman is flying. I don't question people's morals and skill set and think I'm better than them. But my differences in Charlie Kirk don't equate to me wanting him murdered. That's something they're projecting onto all of us because that's what they want for us. Like I don't have this feeling, oh my God, I disagree with Ben Shapiro. I want something terrible to happen to him. I've been a political junkie my whole life. I mean, Rush Limbaugh's been doing exactly what Charlie Kirk has been doing for years. This has always been present. Nobody wants this. But the problem is we've got Kanks who clearly has had some sort of stroke. And then you've got the internet is bananas right now. You've got the video that he did yesterday, which I immediately thought was AI. And then a lot of people are asking AI if it's AI, and they're saying it's AI, where he addressed the Charlie Kirk episode. And then you have on the right, you have the group of people on the right that want to blame liberals, even though we don't have a suspect. We don't have their profile. We don't have their name. We don't know anything about them, but they want to go to war. They want to have a civil war. That is nuts. And then you have people on the right who are saying that this was Israel. And then you've got Laura Loomer. I just saw before I logged into here, she's going after Tucker Carlson because he hasn't responded. It is so crazy on Elon Musk's Twitter, X. And he just called one of the richest men in the world, said that the Democratic Party is the party of murder. That is so dangerous. It is so stupid. It is so ignorant. And all of this stuff continues to be normalized. President Kanks in his behavior and his getting dog walked by dictators and admiring dictators continues to be normalized. And now there's a percentage of the American public that wants a civil war, yet they support Trump. Like, play the tape through. What are you going to get out of that?
Well, especially when Bible Belt states are in the top 10 of the parasite states supported by blue states and blue cities.
It's just, it's insane. And then you've got Trump sending the troops into DC. Where are the don't tread on me people? Where are they? That was their whole mission. Don't let the government come in. Well, it depends on what government it is. And that's the thing about the right. It depends on who has violence committed against them. And I don't cherry pick. I didn't like it when those Minnesota people were shot and they shot their dog too. That sickened me. And I have the same feeling of sickness when I see it happen to Charlie Kirk. I don't cherry pick which violence I'm okay with and which violence I'm not okay with. I'm against violence. I don't like it across the board, even with people who I fundamentally disagree with. A person who made me cringe, Charlie Kirk. A lot of the stuff that he said about Taylor Swift submitting to her husband, all this crazy shit, that doesn't equate to me wanting him to fall prey to a gunshot wound and die and leave his wife and kids. I can't cherry pick that stuff. They're capable of that. I'm not. And so I just think this is a really dangerous time to be an American. I think the rhetoric is horrific. I think that Trump is not all there. I think he's surrounded by a bunch of psychos, and I remain steadfast with all of that. And I do think this is giving Nazi. I think it's giving Hitler. I think this is a very scary time. You don't get to go around and call us all the shit that you've called us and then go out and build a concentration camp called Alligator Alcatraz and then ship people to CCOT. And then when we make parallels, and even Mitch McConnell makes the same parallel, act like you have some moral high ground. It just be realistic. Be realistic about where we are, because it's very dangerous. And the one thing, the heartbeat of democracies is free speech.
That's right.
It is free speech. Charlie Kirk was an extremist. He had extremist views, in my opinion, but he went and he said, sit down with me and prove me wrong. And that was his shtick. That's what he does. We get on here, we smack talk, we do stuff. That's what you can do. This isn't North Korea. And so I'm just so alarmed by all of this. All of the conspiracy theories online are nuts. I hope there are some people remaining at the FBI that are competent.
Yeah.
That can get to the bottom of this, because the longer it goes on, the more of a powder keg this gets.
I completely agree. Please stick with us and we will update you when we have more news.